The key to this business has always been pushing more light, greater distances. And what we've seen, for example, 10 years ago, you were transmitting less than 1 terabit of capacity on each fibre. Now where the industry is at, we're pushing 20 terabits of capacity per fibre. So you've seen a multiple of 20 times in the amount of light that we can push across the oceans. So again, I don't see this changing. This is only going to increase, certainly, as I said, with the rise of machine-to-machine traffic. So the networks are becoming a lot larger. The demand for capacity is still exceeding year on year 50%. I think what the key technical innovations we are seeing and will see is the need for higher fibre count systems. Traditionally, this industry, we have been limited to 8 fibre pairs in a submarine cable. We at Huawei Marine are looking to bring on a 16 fibre pair technology next year. And this is driven again by the demand for capacity, but also the traditional consortium models where co-investors would share spectrum on a cable. What we're seeing is those co-investors now wanting to have full ownership of individual fibres. So that again is driving the need for higher fibre count systems. The other technical innovation which we're seeing is the need for more agile and scalable networks. So we're seeing a lot more software driving the configuration of networks. And an example of that is the branching unit product, where we are now looking at remotely configuring software driving branching units, so that you can select wavelengths individually to drop off or to join a trunk. So that's another key technical development. That comes back to my customers and the network operators requiring flexible, agile networks where they can scale up traffic and swap traffic over to different paths all on a software configurable basis instantaneously. So that is one of the key elements in terms of network design that has come along the last few years, and that is only going to increase. Well, again, I think it's going to drive more demand, more capacity demand. If you look at when people like Facebook start talking about having 1 billion users on virtual reality, that is really only going to drive more demand for capacity. But I think beyond that, I think some of the key challenges that this sort of technology is going to bring, and the key challenges for our industry, we're going to see a lot more emphasis on cybersecurity. And I think we as an industry need to develop some standard protocols in terms of cybersecurity for these systems. And that is something that I think there'll be a lot more focus on in the next few years. I think some of the other challenges we're going to see is also navigating a more complex regulatory environment. And by that I mean going through the process of obtaining permits, landing licenses and obtaining permits to land cables in countries, certainly with more focus on the environment. There's going to be more environmental regulation which we have to navigate. But along with that complex regulatory environment comes the cybersecurity element. I think for my customers, I think you need to look ahead to ensure that the bottleneck for your capacity is not in the submarine cable side. So if you're looking at developing ICT hubs, and we have the greater penetration of broadband in terms of fixed broadband and mobile broadband as people desire to get more connected. So you cannot have the submarine cables as a bottleneck. Submarine cables now are a critical part or a critical infrastructure to a nation and to a region. And so therefore looking ahead, you need to start to sort of plan your investment now so that you're not going to be the bottleneck and you can continue to support the transformation of a nation's digital economy.